The A6000 got me paid, so yes, it is a good beginner camera. I was in the first year of uni looking for a camera. I was interested in photography and filmmaking. I was looking for the best beginner one. I went all through YouTube and this one camera kept coming up, the SONY A6000. I was interested in the camera, so I went on different marketplaces. I went on Gumtree, Spock, Facebook Marketplace, and I came across the A6000 with a kit lens for £300. That was a steal, so I bought it. Owning the camera at first, it never got used. It just sat there on my window still doing nothing. And then I decided I should take it on holiday with me to a trip in France, Piancin. And obviously it was in the high mountains, everything was blown out. All the exposure was destroyed. The skies you couldn't even see, it was just like a white page. After this I realized, I don't know what I'm doing with this camera. I bought it but didn't learn it. It's not just a point and shoot, it's much more. So if there's one thing to take away from that, before you go to use it, make sure you learn it properly. Get the most quality and the best consistent image out of your camera under your full control. My first job with the camera was actually for a company named Crown. The CEO wanted to give the younger generation more empowerment with their hair. Obviously, got a little piece of hair myself, so I was like, yeah, this is a vibe, I like this. This was actually a free piece of work that I done, but it was great to get my foot in the door. I produced some pictures and videos for the client. Upon going there, I went with an A6000, my Sony A18-105, and in my eyes, it was just messy. My white balance was off. My audio, I had no good audio, so I was using preamps. And obviously, if you've used the A6000, you know the preamps aren't that good.
There's self-esteem that brings people to do things they want to do if they value themselves. It's like walking with the Egyptian girls, and that's what we feel proud.
Considering the mistakes I made, I was still able to produce work that they were happy to accept and happy to even use on their social media platforms. This was a big confidence boost for me because I knew I produced that work without learning my camera. So did it really matter? If I just put the time in to understand what my camera needs to do the job correctly, it would have been perfect. If there's one thing I took away from that job, was that don't rush into the deep end without being prepared first. I had no idea what my camera done properly. If I knew how to use it, the output would have been so good compared to what I had. This then made me go off and create some work on my own. I created a little Air Force video, a little commercial for a pair of Air Force that I owned, and it was basic, like it was just detailed shots. I bought a £50 US slider to work with it, and I just put the video together. I was proud of it. I didn't expect anything big from it, but I was proud of it, so I put it on my portfolio. A couple months down the line, I'm applying for jobs here and there. Next thing you know, a company hits me back saying that they would like to proceed to an interview stage. This interview was based in Canary Wharf, in one of the best looking offices I've personally seen. The interviews room was crazy. This amazing place in Canary Wharf I never thought I would be at. And there it was. When I walked in, shook hands, sat down, I heard how they saw my Air Force video and they enjoyed it. After being seen, that ended up being an avenue to being paid for other work for clients. This turned me from a hobbyist into a paid filmmaker. I'm not going to list out all the specs because there's plenty of other videos out there. That's not really what I'm interested in, so I'll just list some pros and cons instead. The first pro is that the camera is easy to learn and easy to use. So creating over a while, you'll start to pick up different things from the camera and different things you want to try in the in-body settings just to change your output. Batteries are very cheap. On Amazon you can get a pack of 2 batteries with a charger for like £20. I got mine on sale for 15. The Sony A6000 is very compact and lightweight. If you suffer from like anxiety or you're just nervous going out to shoot and create, this camera will not be seen unless you're directly lifting up the camera in someone else's face, it won't be seen. And the last pro I can say is that it's an introduction to the Sony ecosystem. This ecosystem spreads far and wide. Like, you need to realize some of the lenses that are E-mount are used on cinema cameras today for some productions. My 18-105 can actually go on an FS5, which is sick to me. Like, some cons is that there's no flip screen. If you plan to do vlogging or you want to see yourself while recording, that's not possible. The screen does move up and down, but not out. There are some accessories on Amazon that you can purchase to do this, but the quality is not the best, so you will pay for what you get, or you'll get what you pay for. Another con is that battery life's kind of shit. Like, batteries will only last about 30 minutes if you're recording 1080p or full HD. So it's not the best if you're doing long form work, but if you're doing something that I was doing, which was product videography, it's great because more time you're either in a studio or you're at home. So if you have a few batteries, you won't run out. But if you do need to recharge, you have the battery charger with the batteries that you buy. Another con is that Sony glass is expensive, man. It's so expensive, especially if you want to go to the G Master range. You're looking to pay realistically no less than £900, and that's pre-owned. No less than £900. That doesn't mean that it won't be above 1.5k or 2k, because price of lenses can reach there, especially in the Sony ecosystem. And the last one is that the A6000 is now discontinued. You can no longer buy it. If you want a receipt or a warranty, it's too late. But that's not so negative, because a lot of these marketplaces, like I said, will offer cheap options with kit lenses. I found my one for £300. That was the A6000 with the kit lens. So look around. I'm gonna try leave some down below if I find any. If not, if you have a camera, don't look to buy this camera, just learn yours. We watch all these videos and all they say is, oh, just create, and sometimes we're like, oh, whatever, man, you can only do that because you have a nice camera. Until you create yourself, you'll never realize it. I've been there, done that. Lighting should come before you upgrading your camera. Lighting is very important. Do not underestimate lighting. If you're still thinking that spending a bunch of money on a new camera is going to improve what you can do, you're kind of sadly mistaken. Take this time to learn lighting, exposure, composition. That's the main things. Once you have a nice basis down on those things, your images will look cleaner regardless of the camera you're using. Even some phones and some apps nowadays give you control of ISO and shutter speed, and even aperture. Once you understand those, the exposure triangle, you'll be enjoying the quality that you get out of your shot. The A6000 doesn't shoot 4K, but I could ask you now, what would you use 4K for? And realistically, you will tell me, because it will look nice. But you have a 1080p screen, just like majority of the people that are watching our content, they won't see 4K. If you need to do a lot of cropping work, maybe this isn't the best option for you. But if you're planning to do stuff like YouTube or smaller form videos that will be viewed on like phones or iPads, don't worry about 4K right now. It's not within your price range. Even if you can afford it, you don't need it. Moral of the story is, you're putting too much thought into what you should be spending on the camera instead of spending that time trying to improve your skills or creativity. Money can't buy those things. If you like it, like it. If you dislike it, dislike it. If you have something to say, leave it down below. Interact with me. The more you do, the further my videos go. That's all I ask for. Links below on the gear I use. Like I said, I'm going to try find some A6000s. And yeah, till the next one.